Welcome to another episode of the Journeys of Not So Ordinary People podcast. I'm one of your co hosts, Dr. Dave Peltz, and along with me is my esteemed colleague, as always, Dr. Joe Hamlet. I was trying to think of something funny to say, and I just couldn't.
You failed.
I fell off that train of thought. Dr. Joe, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Dr. Dave.
Most excellent. So, we would like to welcome all of our viewers and listeners back to the Journeys of Not So Ordinary People podcast. We have some exciting news. This is our first podcast episode of year five, or to some of you, season five. Yes, that is right. For five, with it, we are starting our fifth year of dropping one weekly podcast. That's over 200. That's 209 episodes. Does that make it
That
something like
makes
that?
209. Yeah.
209 episodes. So this is our 209th episode. So we want to, first of all, we want to thank you for all your support throughout the last 4 years. We really appreciate it. The feedback, the guest speakers, everyone that's worked so hard with us and diligently with us to make this still possible. And with that, I'm going to pause and give you all the focus for this episode. And it's year five is live. Now, if you've been listening for the last couple of weeks, we've been kind of teasing at what's coming in year five, and I'm gonna at this point I'm gonna stop talking and pass this over to Joe so we can start giving you some insights as to what is coming in the next during this next few days and week.
Well, Dave, as you mentioned, this is the beginning of year five. And again, who would have thought we'd be saying that, finishing up season four and going into season five, year five. Who would have ever thought that? I
Not
just,
me.
right. It's again still surreal that this has happened, that we're at this goal. So, when we started the Journeys of Not So Ordinary People podcast, it was really to help other people. And we've said this throughout many of our podcast episodes, help other people not have to take that long scenic route on how they could advance their careers, move forward in whatever they're trying to do. And it all started with personal, professional, and career development, and that is still a huge part of this. But I think one of the things we want to do this season moving forward is to be more deliberate about how we're going to help you along your journey. Again, I think there's valuable information in all 208 episodes. If you have a few days, peruse through all of those. But at the same time, we know your time is valuable. So that's really what our focus is this upcoming season and year, is to make sure we're providing you with tools that are actually going to help you move forward. And so that's one of the main changes in our podcast coming up. Because again, we're still going to have conversations, but we're going to, also challenge you. We don't want you just to sit here and listen and walk away and say, okay, that was great information. We want you to be active. We want you to be interactive as you move forward in your journey. I mean, that's why I say me and Dave continue to talk about our journey, and the only way you can, get there is if you start to write these things down, start to visualize these things. And so that's what we want you to do. So, like Dave said, some of these tools we're going to put out there for you, that's what it's going to do. Help you start to write some of these things down. Start to really, and we've talked about this so many times in the past, do that critical self reflection. Start really identifying where you are today and where you want to go. So, with all that being said, one of the first things we're going to provide for you, and I think we touched on in previous episodes, is we're going to actually provide you a tool called the John Sop or Journeys of Not So Ordinary People podcast weekly challenge journal, right? So at the end of each episode, we're going to have a call to action. We want you to do something, and again, it's going to be intentional why we're doing this, because again, this it doesn't make sense for us to come on here and talk if we're not providing you with valuable content and things that you can go and do something and come back and say, okay, I checked this off the box, or check this box, what's next on my checklist. And so that's really, again, what we want to do, because we want to make sure you're moving as fast as you want. We've talked about this, identifying your own level of success. What does that mean to you? So again, hopefully providing you with these tools will help you start to align those things, start to really figure out where you're trying to go. And I'll
Yeah.
stop there.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if Joe mentioned or not because my mind is spinning as he's talking. The journal that we're going to provide that to you free on our
Right.
website. You just fill out the form and you'll be able to download it. So and fill it in. It's there. We wanted to provide you a tool that you can start using immediately. And with that, some of our other changes, you're going to see the website, well, it's still our website, but where we've rebranded it. It's hopefully going to be nice and appealing to our audience. We
Right.
put a lot of thought into this, and we've received a lot of feedback and done a lot of research on what would appeal to our audience, and we think that this new visual is going to work great for us and for you. You'll still be able to actually still you'll be able to access our playlists that we've created. So we've sectionalized. We're still working on getting them all complete, but we're sectionalizing them into 8 different playlists. Um, you can go straight to the playlist and select which playlist on from YouTube you want to listen to, or you can go down and actually explore each individual playlist on the website. So that's another one of the changes that's coming, or that within the next, well, hopefully today when this drops, we'll have that at least that working. We know that, and then by the end
Right.
of the week, we'll have a few more tools available for you as well. So I'm going to pause there because I'm getting a little too excited. I'm on my second cup of coffee.
Like Dave said, yeah, the excitement has been brewing for us for the last few weeks. Actually, probably before even the first of the year, just because we really thought about how we can improve the podcast, how we can again help you, assist you with your journeys. Most of you know our stories, and so we've had our trials, tribulations, ups and downs, having to overcome things, and so again, if we can minimize some of those things for you, our audience, our community. That's what we want to do. It's still so rewarding when people come up to you and say, "Hey, thanks," or send us a comment, or still share that, "Hey, thanks for that information you provided me, so that I can move to the next level." So again, we just want to continue to do that because it that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to continue to give back, especially there's people out there that gave to us or fed into us and our success. We want to continue to do that for you. So again, we just want to provide you with tools and again more intentional content that's gonna help you move forward. That you'll see progress. That's what it's all about. I mean, me and David both talked about how we, saw the end goal was so
Mhm.
far away, and it helped us to have these attainable goals, milestones that we could check off the box and say, wow, I achieved this. Now let's go to the next one. And that's what we want for you as well. Not to again think it's going to take me forever. No, we want to put some things in place so that you can start to see some immediate gains, some immediate successes, and achieving your goals. Again, those things that you identify as what success means to you. So, again, we're both excited about this. Being able to provide tools is the big thing, because that's what me and David both learned. How we got to the next level was, even if we had to create our own tools, it's the idea that you have something in place that you can reflect on, that you can change when needed. And that's kind of what we want to help you start to identify. Yeah, we've said this so many times in the past too. We could provide you with the blueprint we used. It won't be applicable today. The
Mhm.
the situations are different. And so
And you're
that's
different, and you're
yeah,
different.
absolutely.
And we should all each have our own blueprint.
Right, right,
And as we move through this year, we're going to be providing you things to help you with your own blueprint, to create your
right.
own blueprint.
Right. But it's always kind of nice to have a cheat sheet,
Yeah, it
right?
is. Right,
Of
right.
things that, so that they don't, have to beat themselves up or
Yeah,
or hit their head on the wall because they're
yeah.
trying something that's already been proven to possibly not work. And it may still work for you. You just may need to tweak it. So it's just that's what we want to provide. Again, some proven ways of moving forward. And so that again, that's why we're so excited to be able to provide those
Yeah.
things for you.
Yeah, and again, we're really wanting to promote the John Sop Weekly Challenge Journal right off the bat. It is a free tool. It's no cost. I know we're sounding a little sales pitchy, not intentional, but we just want you to know that there's a free tool that we've created for you based upon our weekly challenge, so you can track these in a tool in a
Right.
fillable PDF that you can download. Because we know putting out a weekly challenge is great, but if you don't have something to track it in, that can be inconvenient, maybe less, you might be a little bit less committed to do it. This way, you can just copy and paste out of the description from our weekly podcast, the description, and then just start running with this tool.
Right. Yeah. Again,
And
it's all about identifying, being able to identify, yeah, I did succeed. I did pass this. Now I'm on to the next thing. I can't tell you how powerful that is and how much of a momentum um, gainer it is, or probably not saying that right, but it definitely sets you up for success because you start gaining that confidence in
momentum.
that
Yep.
momentum. It just becomes contagious. It's like,
Yep.
okay, I want more of that. I want more of that. So that's why it makes sense, again, for you to start tracking those types of things and not just, you know, do it or apply it and then walk away. But we want
Yep.
to again make this continuous so that you can actually look back to. That's one of the things that me and Dave have realized too, is the fact that you sit at where you are today, and sometimes you forget about all the things you've done in the past. But what if you had something in front of you that you can look back and say, "Oh wow, I did that. Oh man, I remember I did that now." So it just as it could be a powerful tool to help you to reflect and say, "Hey, okay, I did. Now I can see where I started and where I'm at today." And again, that is that confidence builder, booster to help you move, continue that momentum and move to the next thing and the next thing.
And I want to add, Joe, that as part of my doctoral program, and I'm not sure if it was part of yours, they required us to put together a structured journal and then complete that structured journal every week for every course.
Oh,
And
wow.
when
Okay.
we did that, there was different sections we had to complete, and some people actually published it in full or in parts and part.
Okay.
And you really get to see your accomplishments, the
Yep.
struggles, the successes, and really the end goal accomplishments and the steps how you got there. Where do you see yourself? I see myself here. And then by the end of that year or that quarter, we would look back and go, wow, we did this. This is what we encountered. This is how we can help people. This is what we can reflect on. Now that I've got that, that makes me even more confident to start going forward again and again and again. And that's why we've structured our weekly challenge journal to be quarterly, because that means you can start anytime, listening to us, following us, continuing on. So it's not this big 52-week monster there, that you have
Right.
to feel like if you missed a week, you're going to be like, oh man, I'm falling behind. You're not. This is on at your pace, on your schedule. If you decide to do this weekly challenge, that's great. If next one doesn't pertain to you, then that's fine too. But you can still put in there which episode it is, what the challenge was, and track your progress.
And Dave, no, we did not have a journal like that, but it really goes back to the point that I made that yeah, you get to reflect on those things. You get to see how far you've come, the progress you've made, the challenges you overcame, and those all become important because when you get to that point where you're like, oh, I don't want to do this, or I'm feeling low, you look at that stuff and you start to recognize, oh man, I have moved so far forward
And I've
that
gained
I
strength and momentum and
right.
confidence.
And that's what it does. It just reminds you that, hey, I have progressed, I have moved forward. And there's a visual indicator, not having to, think off the top of your head, which as you get older, that's a little more difficult to do because you got so much stuff up in your head. So it again, it just helps you to gauge where you are and gauge where you're trying to go. So that's why we think it's so important that even if you don't use our journal, it's just maybe a template or something that you can look at and say, well, I can improve upon it. That's great. Just the idea that you just start to really take stock in what you gain from, the podcast or even other experiences that you go through. Maybe you can use this. If you go to a conference, you could use this same type of idea. What are my takeaways? What am I gaining from this? What was the topic? I mean, just and I don't know if I've said this before on the podcast, but I no matter what event I go to, some if there's a speaker, I always take notes because you never know what nugget you're going to grab out of that. And that's what I think this is for us is just you writing down maybe those things that mean something to you or something that you want to reflect back on.
Yeah.
That's why I think it could be so powerful. Like I say, even if you just write one sentence out of, this 20-minute episode, that still could be powerful for you. I just remember again, every event I go to, I can go back and I've got notebooks, a ton of notebooks that I can go back and say, oh, yeah, I remember that. Or now it makes sense. So it's just, again, a way not to have to keep that stuff in your head, but to write it down, go back to it, reflect upon it. So again, that's why we're so excited about offering again, tool to you. And like I say, you may just look at it and say, I'm not going to use that. That's fine. But just the idea that you're keeping track of things, what are you learning? What are your takeaways? If somebody came up to you and said, hey, what was that episode about? And you might not be able to remember because there was just so many things going on. But if you can take down a couple of key points that you can reflect on, apply to your own situation, again, it makes a big difference.
Yeah. And so we're trying to set our weekly challenge to within a certain time frame. We're there and another minute past that, just so we can keep on time. So our weekly challenge for you this week is to identify or write down, where do you see yourself in 1 year? So what that means is we would love for you to visit our new website. It's still the same address. Visit our website, go down to the section where you see the Journeys of Not So Ordinary People podcast links, download your free journal, identify where you see yourself in 1 year, and then additionally, if you like, if you want to, it's not required. Share what your goal is in our comments on our LinkedIn page, and provide us some feedback. What did you think of the journal? Do you think you'll use it? Do you think it's a good idea? How can we improve it?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we're open to this feedback. We really want to start. Our goal this year is to have like maximum engagement with our viewers and listeners, to really provide a more impactful podcast and provide really great tools for you throughout the rest of the year. So, yeah, Joe, what are some of your thoughts as we wrap this thing up here?
And so you mentioned, putting it in the comments on LinkedIn. Put it wherever you see, or whether you watch it on YouTube, put comments in
Oh
there.
yeah,
If you're listening to it
Facebook,
on
LinkedIn,
yeah,
whatever.
anywhere you see this, because we do go back and review all of our comments and appreciate that. So wherever you access this content, write a comment there because that also may help shape some of the future um, podcasts we put together. Again, we're thinking about mini series, which we've talked about before. So there's just so many things we know we could do to assist you along your journey. So again, excitement is here for me and Dave. We just want to make sure this is impactful for you. So if you spend 20 minutes with us, you walk away, with something that you feel
Mhm.
like, hey, that was worth my 20 minutes. Well, again, we don't want you just sitting here listening to two old guys talk about things. We want to really make it impactful for you and worth your time. So I want to end it with that again because we're just so excited to be one starting season year 5. Again, and when we had those conversations very early on, took us 4 months to even get started, and now to again talk about year 5 is just again, it still blows me away that that's where we are today. So
Absolutely. Thanks, Joe. And again, we want to make this season and this year as impactful for you as possible. We want to, provide as much engagement as we possibly can. We've got some personal goals for ourselves and for the podcast in the background that we'd like to hit. So just keep those things in mind. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our podcast. Um, get the word out there that we've got new content, new webpage, new things coming up in the next couple of weeks that you can take advantage of. Um, so yeah, I think I'm going to pause there. I'm getting a little chitty chatty again. So with that, we'd like to thank all of our viewers and listeners for tuning in to another episode of the Journeys of Not So Ordinary People podcast. We love and appreciate your support. And with that, we want you to continue being your not so ordinary you.